Flare tool. So if I come in here, it'll do just that. It's sort of like, it's weird. It's a vector version of the one in Photoshop. And it gives me this. Then it gives me all these options. Diameter. So let's go down to 25. That's weird. There it goes. A little bigger. Now, right here, I can change the direction. I think that's the right direction right there. Raise, can change that up. Path. So it's just like a lot of these things. I want to see fuzziness. I don't think I've ever used that. Growth. I'm not sure what that one is either. Oh, okay. Oh, so that's how you can make it bigger, smaller, easier. And then I'm going to go okay. Then you get this little lens flary kind of thing. Does that make sense, you guys? Now let's go over to this. So let's say that we're working on our project here. Now, if you look here, by the way, I've used a lot of little things to dance some texture in here. That's probably that calligraphic brush. This little swipe right there is one of those etcher brushes, one of those etching brushes, which apparently I haven't given you guys yet, which I didn't realize. Here's another one. Here's, I think, also an etching brush that I just used to dance a little texture in there. Up here, this purple is another broken, probably charcoal brush. These little hits on the water or just little texture things, same thing here. And then here in the foreground, same idea. So I'm dancing, and that one right there is an etcher brush. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when I say I use these for all different things, and I don't use them just for what they say they're used for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then this kind of wood texture in the type, I think I just made that, and then I made a clipping mask out of the whole word, and then I clipping masked it. And also, if you look on these bears, they also have the etcher brush on them. So another thing just to create texture, kind of sort of implies fur a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then here's our little fade idea that we talked about. If you guys forget how to do that, let me know. Okay, now let's look at this. So if I go here to swatches, let's just go here. And it's just like your, well, now my swatches are back. That's weird. It's just like your brushes thing. So if I go here, open swatch library, other library, and in this case, one of the ones we're talking about is, I gotta remember the name of it, right here, vector tone. And I can go here to swatch libraries, and I just pick the latest one or the furthest one, and then double click that, and it will open it in my thing like this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because this one's cool. It's got basically half tones. So you can go and add these half tones in, which is kind of, that one's cool too. I like that one. Now, another thing you can do here is we can go to our scale tool right here, double click it, and I can go click off transform object and click and just leave transform patterns. And let's go 50%. And you can see it change the scale of the actual pattern. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
So, because normally what happens here, if I make this bigger, oh, that is going bigger. That's weird. It doesn't usually do that because it's a pattern. I wonder if that's because I changed the scale. Well, now you can change the scale this way, so that's kind of interesting. So let's go, let's do this one. Yeah, so see, this one is just repeating the pattern. It doesn't change the size. Does that make sense? Let's see if this does. I'm holding shift. Did it make it any bigger? I can't tell. Looks like that does make it a little bit bigger, but let's see what happens when I do this now. Yeah, I think it shrunk it again. That's weird. So normally when you open up, it seems like if you affect the size of the pattern, that then it doesn't react as much like it. Yeah, because that looks small. Yeah, that got smaller. So normally if I put a pattern in here, and like I said, if I just open this up more, it's just going to fill it with the same size. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But if I go in here, and then if I go here, no, that's weird. That one does actually just resize itself, which is weird. That's really weird. Hang on. Okay, that one. Yeah, that's weird. So if I do this with this one, I don't know why this one's different. I just do that, it behaves that way. It just places the thing. But once I go to change the size, it actually affects the shape, which is kind of weird. Usually patterns don't do that. So let's see this one. Yeah, this one's, it looks like once you do affect the size, like in the scale tool or something like that, then it affects the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we could, let's get, I could either do this like that, and then I could come up here, transparency, find an overlay that works. There is one. So if I have one that kind of works, that one's not, oh, that's not bad. Then I might go, okay, that's a little too much. I could get this nice little play around with halftones. Now, the other thing I could do here, and I'm just going to be sloppy about this. I could create a clip, a mask, or just create a custom shape, and apply these to different areas in different ways. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I love halftones.
Yeah.
Now, another thing you can do here, that's not bad right there. I kind of like that. And then, I come in here selectively, like maybe, I don't know, maybe here, let's lock this off. Or maybe here in the foreground. And obviously I'd have to do this on a layered file. This is a placed image. I'd have to go back to the original. Maybe I go. That's kind of interesting. So maybe if I layered this over the original thing, I might be able to get an interesting little texture in there. If I put that under the leaves and all that kind of stuff, I could get another little texture in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, another thing you can do, which I think is cool, is we can go to, I'm going to go to my Blob Tool. And I can paint it with my blob tool. Does that make sense?
That does. I didn't realize you could use a texture as a,
I know it's
As a
cool,
fill.
right?
yeah.
Let's see if I have
I
another.
didn't realize you could use a pattern as a fill.
That's weird. Now my swatch is switched. That's so weird. Let's see right here. Let's try. I never tried this with this. Let's go. Yeah, you can do it with any pattern.
Wow. Absolutely too much coolness.
Huh?
Absolutely too much coolness.
I agree. What's weird is if you look at it, I put it on the fill, but it always goes back to line, which is whatever, it works. I don't care. But it's just a nice way to be able to paint. And I'm doing it with my stylus right now, but you can do it with the mouse. Because it's not pressure sensitive or anything. It'd be kind of cool if it was. I don't know what that would mean, but then I want to see if I can do this same trick here. Yeah. So let's go to 25. Yeah. So you can use your blob tool if you want to paint a texture or to paint a swatch or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, another thing which we'd be getting at now, piling textures on is a really common thing. I'll show you some other stuff here in a minute, but let's go. Oh, here's another thing. So right here, let's see if I can do this in the right order. Right here, if you look down here, there's these three little buttons right here. So I'm going to go to my blob tool. Go here. And I want to change this to that. Now I got my blob tool and I got this shape and I hit this little button right here on the right. And it just contains it in whatever shape it's over. That makes sense? So it's kind of nice. You can do it in real time. You can create the shape and create basically a clipping mask in real time. Does that make sense? But let's see if I can go here, clipping mask, release, and there it is. So it just makes a clipping mask in live time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Okay. And you know, it also could be cool, like if I have this shape, I could just take this shape, repeat it, and then I could just do that with it, and I could just paint a few textures here and there and not have to worry about spilling over and all that kind of stuff. Because I might not cover the whole thing in texture. I want to build a lot of texture. So let's go. So now we got this, whatever, these halftones. These are just high-res texture files, which, by the way, you can make yourself, no problem. So let's go full page textures. And it has these different, like, foam roller.
It's like a brayer.
Yeah, they just have different types. Of, like, I like this one so far. Anyway. Usually the one's going to work on these. Well, it depends. So let's pretend that I put this behind where it should be. I'm going to go to transparency, multiply, you know, and I can start to get these textures in here. That one's not bad. And then I could change this actually. So let's go back.
Excuse me for interrupting. What is the file? Is it just a photo?
It's a PNG.
It's a PNG.
Yeah, it's a raster file. It's a high-res raster file. Yeah.
I wonder why the transparency isn't already built in.
Well, you could do that if you did a bitmap. You could do it too with a PNG, I think.
Yeah, I thought so.
But to be honest with you, I kind of like this because I can pick it myself.
Yeah, true.
I mean, either or works. And then I could come in here and I should be able to change that. Hang on. Let's see. Let's go back to transparency. Usually you can change the color. Oh, there it goes. So depending on what I change the color to, that could change the overlay. So there's multiply. And you can see it's kind of nice. It's not just black. It gives it a little bit of a color to it, which I like. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So let's go back here. And then I might pile some of these together. So let's see what else we got. Let's go printer toner. Now here you got some of those folds. So let's try that. I wonder if I can change this to white. I just want to see something. I'm seeing if I want to see if it'll pull the. Yeah, I don't think it will. Okay, so let's try this. Let's go back to that same idea. Yeah. Start to get the little folded idea. I might just try and dial in that color. I'll try different things here. It's not too bad. I'll go back to multiply. And then I might take it down a hair. Like that. And then, you know, I might just continue. And I do this stuff towards the end if I'm going to do this. I think this one was kind of interesting. Oh, that's kind of interesting. If I needed that, that'd be really cool. Go back to multiply, and then I'm going to go a little. I'm going to go to the gray. Let's just put another little layer of texture over this so I can start to get this to feel like a little beat up map or whatever, or, you know, old flyer or something. Like an old Forest Service Route poster or something like that. Let's go. So, okay, so I loaded more brushes, and remember that we go to brushes, open brush library, other library, and then go find them. So this is some of the brushes that comes with this set. So I'm going to pull this out. These are kind of nice. So I could come in here and get a little more selective, wherever that is, and then go, I don't need that. And then, so I got these different brushes I can come in and try. Same thing, let's go. I'm going to go with a brownish thing. It's too big, so I'm going to come here and go, okay. So we got a lot of ways to get fairly specific with this stuff. Let's try a different one. Maybe this one. That one's kind of nice. Let's see if we go bigger. Yeah, that's nice. So I can really make these selective where I want them. That's nice. Again, I'd probably do an overlay with these. That's really cool, but it's not for there, but it's really cool. That even might be cool. Like, let's see.
It might be cool to put like a boot print, like somebody stepped on the.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go more orangey. And then let's go. You know, I could get a nice little shine on this tree here. like a little texture idea. And a lot of times, if you notice, I'm just interpreting texture. I'm not sitting around going, oh, it's gotta look like whatever. I just try different things. So let's try going. That basically disappears, so we don't like that. So let's go soft white. That's kind of nice. You see that? You see that subtle little texture I built on there?
Yeah.
So this is how I might start going around and tricking this out a little bit. There's another one. I've never used these for this type of texture before. I like that. That's cool. That's really cool. So let's see if I can go down to 0.125. Or 1 point, no, 0.125. Come on, there it is. So I could clipping mask that. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice texture. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Why they don't give us a way to do that? Let me see this double circle. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to smoke through. Ah, there it is. So if you go to your right, you know that little circle? Is everybody, am I talking to myself? Or is everyone following?
No, I hear you.
I'm not crazy. If you go to the right and you click that little circle, then it gets it forms like a couple of rings around it. That then breaks the link between the two, and you can move it around, do whatever you want with it.
Okay, so what you should be able to do is what I just did, which because it's a clipping mask. As long as I just
Right,
double click the object in it, I can move it around.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, that works. Yeah.
You can do that with any clipping mask or a lot of things that you're working on. So instead of having to take the clipping mask off to mess with it, like the way they're locked, if I just
Yeah.
double click the object, I can edit within.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's
Then I
what
can
I was
just
looking
click off. I know I have some coffee stains somewhere. You know, I could add a coffee stain to it if it made sense. Right? Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
In this copy stain, I just pulled off online. If I was doing this for real, I'd want to make sure it was high res. I don't want to be using 72 DPI stuff. So I could keep building texture however far I want to go, pull some of it back, you know, play with overlays. Like here. Go to grab this one. What's that? That's another one. Trying to get to the halftone pattern. That's another one. There. And you know, I love this texture on this tree right here. Okay, questions on this? Everybody's good? Where'd everybody go? It's too quiet.
Yeah, it's
Still
pretty
here.
good.
We're still here.
We're all here.
It all makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
totally.
So we're going texture crazy, right? Now we want to be smart about it. You might just want to put texture on your foliage. You might just want to, you know, if you're doing a painterly thing, that might be your sort of organic idea. It's just up to you. I'm just trying to give you a lot of options. Does that make sense? I'm not saying do every one of these things. I'm saying just, you know, these are all different options that you can use. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm going to put up all my brushes. The ones that are brushes, you just bring them into the brush palette. And if it's a swatch, you bring it into the swatch palette. That's the only thing to it. And I'm gonna, I think that's all the sets I have, but I'll make sure that I get them all up right after class. I'm gonna get those up, these up. I think that's the only stuff that I have to put up, and then the video I'll throw up right now. Make sense?
Is this our last project?
I think so. Because it's gonna go throughout this week, maybe into next week, right?
Mhm.
So I think so. If we're doing anything else, it'll be a quicker one. Yeah,
Okay.
we might do something small, maybe, I don't know. I think that's it, you guys. So just keep working and keep throwing them in there so I can see them when you're, as you're moving along. Does that make sense?
Will do.
And I'm just gonna keep dumping different tools and things on you. Yeah?
Mhm.
Good.
Okay, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow.